That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and we get your raincoats on because we got a buy NATO heading our way this week. But don't worry, we're going to get you set. I know it's a big week for a lot of us, and we're here to get you started. Of course, we got our man, Brian Scott, bringing you inside the medical tent with our own Andrew Leduc, who also gives us some sophisticated starts later on. And we also, of course, are going to break down all of week 12, tell you who to start and who not to start this week. Let's go. It's time for TSS Fantasy.
Yeah! Here we go!
It's time for TSS Fantasy.
It is Commissioner Cooper.
I could do a whole 49er show right now.
Ready to rock out with my gavel out.
Oh, yeah, baby.
That don't sleep on my Patriots, you know.
I think we're ready for football. That's
Joe Burrow with this wrist, I'm curious.
I find you guilty of all charges.
although you consistent force in this
I just developed some really great
DJ Chuck Bass.
This guy has been doing it ever since coming off.
I hope you like the way I pimped
He's
you out.
made 4 targets in all 3 of the classes.
Game for the touchdown this year.
You know, the great thing about being a football player is you don't have to take a shower to go to work.
There it is.
Indeed. Welcome in, everyone. I know I can't believe we're in week freaking 12 already. It goes by like this. It's already almost done. We're sad, but it's okay. Hopefully you got some playoffs you're getting ready for. We're going to help you get that number 1 seed this week. So let's get it started, of course, with the intros. To my left here, it's Mr. Sophistication himself, Angela Duke. Welcome into the studio.
Thanks for having me as always. Every other Friday, here I am.
And I probably are to my right, I guess. I don't know, whatever. And to the bottom, I can get that one right. Let's welcome in Justin Jesus Herrera. Welcome in, sir. Oh, you're on
Muted as classic.
That's why you're on the bottom.
Best bottom in the business is back, and I am just having a terrible record with that mute button this year. I think it's got me 0 for life at this point. But yeah, fucking week 12, it's kind of crazy. Like, we're about 2 weeks away from actually talking playoffs. Where did the season go? Where did it go? We wait so long, and it's gone so quick.
I know. Well, I think that's why, the NFL is king. I mean, it's a shortened packed season with lots of, intrigue, and it's like the greatest movie you could ever watch, and you're just waiting for the sequel next year. So that's the way it goes here in the NFL. Let's pay the bills real quick. Do us a solid. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, throw us a like, put the notification bell on. Put your lineup questions in. Little things stopping you from doing it. Big things popping for us when you do. So we always appreciate it. Also, if you're looking for some daily fantasy plays, go to Underdog Fantasy. Use a promo code TSS. We'll double that deposit up to $100. It's not just football, basketball. When baseball comes, they got baseball. They got it all. So make sure you go check them out. Get paid today. Also, if you're looking for some championship bling, now that we're getting down to it, look no further than Pro-Am belts. All right, guys. Well, let's get it started. We had a little bit of something last night, so let's talk about the news. Well, first of all, last week on Sunday, if you watched our Sunday show, I was super excited because earlier in the week, they projected snow for Denver. And I was like, oh, yeah, some snow. And then later, there was like nothing. But last night, ooh-wee, what a snow-filled fun game that we got to watch. Very unexpected. The Browns pulled it off 24-19. Russell Wilson had an okay night, 270 yards and a TD. Of course, he ran one in as well. So that was not, or he didn't run one, I'm sorry. But he had a decent night anyway, regardless. 270, 1 TD, did get 10 yards on the ground. The thing we need to talk about is Jaylen Warren coming up 11 attempts, 5 under Najee, but used the most of them, 45 yards with the TD. Najee got 41 yards on his attempts, so we'll talk about that, I'm sure, in a sec. Jameson Winston, boy, this guy, 219 yards. He was the one who ran in the touchdown. That was what I was remembering. But he did do the Jameson Winston thing and threw a little pick. Nick Chubb Could he be back? 20 rushes, 59 yards, 2 TDs on the ground. Wasn't looking quite like the Nick Chubb of old, but I think that he's slowly starting to work in a little bit. And I think more as we get more at the end of the season, we'll see a little more out of him. Not much out of the receivers other than Jerry Jeudy, 6 receptions, 85 yards. And he did leave the game with a concussion, so we'll see how that rolls. All right, LeDuc, let's go to you first. What'd you think of last night? Biggest takes from it?
I was a few weeks late on the Jerry Jeudy call, but it showed up for at least one game, and now he's concussed, so that's probably about all we'll get. No, so like you mentioned it, the Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris split is intriguing now, especially as a Najee Harris owner now. I made a trade from a few weeks back. Harris, it's not that Harris looked bad. He just kept getting tripped up, and that's something for some reason Warren wasn't, and those are the little things that are going to make a big difference on tape. So that's something you can't ignore at this point. Jaylen Warren is startable.
And especially if the weather was causing this, well, guess what? It ain't gonna get any better as we start to lay down later on in the year. So Najee's been very consistent over the last few weeks. So there's a reason you traded for him. He's been really good, quite frankly. And Jaylen Warren's been an afterthought. Last night, he made himself the thought ahead of Najee. I think you saw a bit of a difference, at least in that game. But right, Justin, what do you think of last night's game? Your thoughts?
Yeah, it was the first time I had to like really go up to my TV and try to like think about, should I hit it a little bit? Because like all the snow made it look like it was like staticky. At one point, it was like snowing so damn hard. I was just like, do I go up there? Does this still work like that? Do I need an antenna or something? But overall, the game was fun, man. I like good old fashioned snow games, especially 2 freaking hard hitting teams. There was a lot of turnovers. And, for me, I looked at it and I said, Jameis Winston, yeah, he's safe to play for the rest of the season because this is a guy who, regardless of his past, his interception past, he's always going to go out there. He's always going to try and find a way to score a touchdown. I like that, especially playoff time. If I can have a guy who can score 4 touchdowns, I don't care if he threw 3 interceptions. He still got me 4 fucking touchdowns. And he's got that mentality right now. And he's got the Browns thinking that they're going to fucking somehow make the playoffs. And that's a contagious spirit, and I love it for fantasy football. Browns fans, you're not making the playoffs. Just get over that right now. But it's contagious. Keep it up. Maybe he could be the quarterback of the future.
I want to be high on whatever Jameis Winston was high on last night, even if it was just life, because his pregame speech was like for the books. Like that, it was every question. He was just like, I don't care. I'm a smile. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
he should come in and be fantasy Jesus this week. We should get in contact with him. He's got that vibe going on him.
I found myself last night very much rooting for the Browns, and because of Jameis Winston. I mean, the pregame interview, the way he was talking with, it's just like, I don't know how you can't root for the guy. He's got like such a good mentality right now. Even afterwards, I don't know if you saw the post game, he's having a snowball fight with the primetime crew. I mean, how can you not like that? I mean, it was good stuff all the way around.
Well, he even had the Amazon Prime product placement as he's walking off the field. He's like, I just ordered overnight on Amazon for my W.
Exactly. I mean, look, at the end of the day, maybe we see a Baker Mayfield type resurgence with Jameson now, but we know what Jameson is, as Justin mentioned. He's going to throw those picks, and we're talking fantasy-wise. He wasn't that bad when he was a starter at Tampa. Not that bad when he did a few games with the Saints. He has some good games. We know he has the bad ones, but he's definitely at least worth a roster spot at the very least. If you have a tough matchup with your starting QB, not someone that I would shy away from. And not that it's a little too late now, but we got to buy NATO this week, so he would have been deep in the start anyway. All right, well, we're going to shut up now because we got injury news to talk about. Me and Justin and go back, hit the dub a little bit while Brian brings us inside the medical tent with Andrew LeDuc. Let's check it out.
A.J. Dillon just went into the medical tent a moment ago.
And injuries we have, we already have some guys who are ruled out, so we'll get to those. But first, we got to get to it first. We have a brand new injury in the NFL. and is coming out of nowhere else but New York.
Yeah, and you know what?
Usually...
This might be one of the worst injuries I've ever seen on the field of any athletic event.
Yeah. I have literally gone out of my way to avoid this one at parties. So CJ Mosley, we don't usually talk about defensive players, but CJ Mosley should be returning after the bye from a herniated disc in the neck. That's a real thing, people. Not a real injury, but someone freaking printed that in a paper.
It is. And
it is fantastic.
Let me just tell you something, Andrew. One of the more serious things I've ever witnessed as a healthcare provider. So serious, in fact, that I don't even know what the cure or treatment is for this, except prayer. I think that's what Mosley needs right now is a lot of prayer. Hopefully those prayers will be answered and his condition will turn around and allow him to get back on the field safely and unharmed long term.
I'm going to prescribe him a change in zip code away from Diddy's zip code. Anyways, let's get to some actual injuries because obviously that's fake and that was a typo in the New York paper. Brock Purdy it might not have been. Brock Purdy ruled out today. Not so much of a surprise as we saw his practice really kind of slow throughout the week with the shoulder injury. Do you think this is just a 1 week thing, or should we expect longer term absence here from Purdy? And
no,
I mean, we'll get to what the Niners later in the show, but this is big news.
I don't think this is going to be a long term thing. I think that I think they play the Chiefs the following week, right? I think they're kind of getting him geared up and 100% for that matchup. They've got a big matchup coming up. They got a big matchup coming up soon. Maybe the Bills. I forget who it is, but I think they're just resting him, getting him right for that matchup coming up in a couple weeks. It doesn't sound like it's anything serious. He tried to throw the other day, had some shoulder soreness, so I think they're just playing it cautiously here. I did call this, though. I was on a show last night with Dan Mader, our good friend over at that Fantasy Football Advice Network, and we called it. I put that post up on social media. So, it just had all the writings on the wall of him not playing, and lo and behold, today they officially announced that he's out.
So Brandon Allen going to be stepping in. Unfortunately for me, and like we said, this bi-NATO week where I'm forced to start both Deebo Samuel and Jawan Jennings this week, it's not looking good. Some other injury news, of course, we got to hit on because it's every week. There's another hamstring injury. Devontae Smith ruled out with a hamstring injury. He did not practice at all this week. I'm going to go out on a limb here, correct me if I'm wrong, and say that that does not bode well for him even playing next week.
Yeah, like I say all the time on this show and many others, unless you get a full practice under your belt with a hamstring injury, the likelihood that you'll be ready to go on the weekend is very low. He did not get any practice time in, not even a limited session this week. So lo and behold, he's out.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that for the following weeks too. As we approach the playoffs, that could be something you need to watch because we've seen it before where these hamstring injuries will linger for weeks on and weeks continuing. So Tyreek Hill still with this wrist injury. He's gonna continue playing through it. Should we just expect to see this week for the rest of the season? Because that's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's going to be a story until it's no longer a story, which means they're going to keep reporting it until he either goes out with season-ending surgery or the season ends, whichever comes first.
Right. A couple guys who are also questionable. Noah Fant at the tight end. Once again, because of the bye weeks this week, tight ends is a spot where you can be looking. Noah Fant is questionable for this week. And then as well, Alexander Madison still listed as doubtful, but I did see a report that he's already been ruled out, so I'm not surprised there. As well as Zamir White.
That's the problem. That's the big problem is both their running backs are listed as doubtful. Whether they're officially out, I don't know. But even with a doubtful tag, there's like a 25% chance that they're playing, which means they're not playing.
Exactly. So that's going to be a big problem for an already Raiders offense that is something to just ignore it, basically. Mike Evans making his return, though. Honestly, I think he's had the time off here to where he should be good. I expect him to kind of fire on all cylinders back into this offense and in a situation where they could probably really use him too.
Yeah, apparently he was saying he's been out since week 7. Now he was saying that he could have come back week 10, but they just played it cautiously. Didn't want this to linger. Still 7 more games, man. These seasons are so much longer than they used to be. Probably a smart decision there to give him the extra couple weeks to recover. But he sounds like he's ready to go. Head coach Todd Bowles confirmed that he will be playing against the Giants this weekend.
Yes, and then some other notable guys to just talk about. Sam Darnold's off the injury report, so he's going to be good to go. Andy Reid came out and said Isaiah Pacheco will not make his return this week, so looking like we got to wait at least one more week for the Pacheco return. I'm thinking maybe 2 more weeks, though, honestly. So just keep an eye on that situation. And then DeAndre Swift with a groin issue, also questionable for this week. Groin's kind of very similar to those hamstring injuries for me. They're just going to linger. Probably play through it to some extent, and we'll see, because that's basically all the Bears have on offense right now is DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, the groin injuries tend not to be as significant in football as they are in a sport like hockey, especially at the skilled positions. Usually the injuries are not as severe. You can make a little bit quicker recovery from those. With the questionable tag, we'll see what he does next week, but even if he does miss this weekend, I don't think it'll be a long-term thing.
Yeah, and it's the 49ers and Bills that popped up at the bottom there. So 49ers and Bills, not the Chiefs, yes. And then one more notable guy, he's not injured, but as the biggest news today, we'll talk about later more, Daniel Jones, now no longer a Giant. So get him off your rosters just because that's something we do hear on the injury report. And
yeah, the funny thing is about that, Andrew, is that the injury factor was the motivating factor for releasing him, because if the Giants had him on the practice field or kept him in the game, if he got injured, I think they owed him something like $23 million guaranteed if he got hurt. So it didn't make sense to keep him if they were just going to bench him. He probably, he requested to be released, and that makes the most sense for him and for the Giants. They don't want to be on the hook for that money if he got hurt, God forbid, even in a weight room. It could have happened anywhere, too. It didn't even have to happen on the practice field. So he was basically shut down doing nothing for the rest of the year. There was no way they were going to, unless like some miracle happened or some astronomical event took place that he had to then be thrown back into the starting rotation. There was no way that they were going to put themselves on the hook potentially for $23 million extra when they can let him walk at the end of the year here, or by releasing him and not have to eat up that salary. So the writing was on the wall yesterday.
No surprise from an organization where rumors are that that's why they're starting Tommy DeVito, so that they don't have to pay Drew Lock any incentive money he might have earned in these last handful of weeks. So no surprise, Giants doing Giants things. And I think we can all agree that if the Cowboys sign sign Daniel Jones and start him on Thanksgiving, can we just all agree that how great that would be?
That would be
and
so
how
awesome.
We are all starting Daniel Jones and DFS on Thanksgiving, because it's gonna get fucking crazy.
It would be a career game for that dude, no doubt. Career game.
Be fan-freaking-tastic. Look, do you have any other injury notes you want to make before we move on here? Because I think there's a couple I want to get to.
Yeah. There's a couple other ones. Sam Laporta should be coming back this week with that AC joint injury. He was back at practice the other day. Head coach Dan Campbell said he looked good. Didn't have any setbacks. Hey, and big news: the long-awaited NFL debut of Jonathan Brooks looks like it's going to happen this weekend.
Yes,
he has been officially activated off IR since week 10 and practiced fully since then, but yet they haven't pulled the trigger. But it sounds like this is the weekend. It's been confirmed with head coach Dave Canales. He will be making his debut against the Chiefs. How much he'll get used, I don't think it's going to be a tremendous amount. He's going to get action.
Because Miles Sanders has been ruled out already at this point.
There you go. I guess that was the nail in the coffin.
Jonathan Brooks, I think, should see some action, and my depth charts here are not loading fully, but he should be number 2 on the depth chart, I believe, off the top of my head at this point.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's going to do it for us here for the injury report. We're going to get back to the rest of the show to break down all your games and your fantasy values. Before we get to that, we're going to hear from NeuroGuard. But thank you, Brian, as always. And we will see you on Sunday for any updates we have. So
watch those next.
Have a good night and
take care of your necks.
Watch those next. Watch those.
You never know.
Watch those dicks.
Those injuries sneak up on you like that. They get you.
Dr. Michael Hutchison has harnessed the latest in neuromuscular dentistry and impact technology to develop a mouthguard that does more than protect. It enhances. NeuroGuard Plus isn't just a mouthguard. By focusing on the jaw's physiological position, it provides an added layer of neuroprotection, significantly reducing the risk of sports-related neurological injuries. All athletes should be using a custom mouthguard designed to their bite position. NeuroGuard Plus was created as a means to maintain your physiological jaw position regardless of your bite. The appliance is designed to optimize your upper-lower jaw relationship to improve your strength, your balance, your oxygen intake, and drastically lower your chance of a concussion. Independent studies have shown that the NeuroGuard Plus will provide you with improvement to both upper and lower body strength. The same improvements were not present with a common mouthguard. Over 6,500 athletes have used the NeuroGuard Plus. Dr. Hutchison is happy to say that the amount of diagnosed concussions is 0.2%. The NeuroGuard Plus offers athletes, coaches, and parents an advantage to keep their players safe on the field. If you or your child actively participates in athletics, they need to be protected from the dangers of repetitive head trauma. Get your NeuroGuard Plus mouthguard today. Click on the link and use code ILP Sports for 10% discount on your purchase.
Probably busting out some news. I did not know that about Daniel Jones and his contract. So that was interesting because I was wondering, like, why release this guy, when the season's almost done anyway? Although I would have left his butt over in Germany or whatever the hell they were in Europe, the way he played over there. So this has been a long time coming, obviously, for the Giants. I'm glad to see they're moving on because they do need to. I just thought it was a weird move, but thanks, Bri, for letting me know why. And then you let me know why they didn't play Drew Lock. That's crazy to me. All right, well, let's get it on, ladies and gentlemen. It's week 12 by NATO week. So let's get you ready. Break it on down.
Break down. Bring it on down.
Break down.
Bring it on down. Bring it on down.
All right, let's get to the weekly breakdown. We're going to start out with a big one here. Titans at Texans, and everyone's excited for this. Titans against fantasy QBs are 21st. They're 14th against running backs, 4th against receivers, and 7th against tight ends. The Texans are 17th against QBs, 5th against running backs, 24th against receivers, and 3rd against tight ends. So let's do this a little differently since we got two guys tonight. I'll go to you first. LeDuc will go. Give me who you like and don't like on the Texan side of the ball.
So you gotta like. Can you hear me? Okay, because I feel seems like
fine.
I'm delayed, so I'm fine. Okay, things are not looking good on my side, so just making sure. You gotta like Nico Collins with his return. It's looking good. He's looking like the stud that he is. And CJ Stroud as well. So with the bye weeks this week too. Dalton Schultz has got to find the end zone at some point this year. He has not found, and this is strictly a gut play. It's what this man is known for: red zone play, targets, and touchdowns. Dalton Schultz has not found the end zone yet this year. With all the bye weeks, I'm taking a shot at Dalton Schultz in my top 10 at tight end this week to find the end zone. Just don't sleep on him because he's the type of guy that can pull it out at any point, and he just has to at some point. It's what he's known for. I can see him getting 2 touchdowns this week.
I keep thinking that about Tank Dell, and then my team continues to lose. All right, what do you think, Justin, on the Titans side of the ball? Give me guys you like and don't like.
I just kept on repeatedly mouthing, does he? Does he have to get a touchdown? Does he?
He has to. He has to.
All I'm seeing is Joe Mixon is taking every touchdown for himself.
That's so true.
Oh, on the Titan side, it's real freaking easy for me. Play Calvin Ridley, and pretty much that's it. I don't even feel comfortable with either of their running backs. I know it's Biocalypse week. It's the Bi Hurricane. It's the biannual, shit your pants week because it's almost playoff time. But, do we really stoop to playing Texans? It's like playing Raiders. Do we really stoop to playing Raiders on these trying times? I guess so. If you have to, you have to. But really only people I'm playing right now with confidence, Calvin Ridley. And you know what? Sneaky play because he scored 5 times out of the last 6 games. Nick Akina, Westbrook Akina. Sneaky little play there. If you got 2 flex spots, he might be one of those guys you kind of look at and go, maybe. I'm telling you, 5 touchdowns in the last 6 games. He's done this like every year for the Titans. Like you don't even draft this guy. You never know who he is. Don't know what school he went to. Don't know if he was even drafted. But he's
don't know how to pronounce his name. Yeah. Listen. And,
exactly.
And I don't think there's any. And if my memory jogs me correctly, I don't believe Tajay Spears is playing this week.
He's ruled out. Yes.
Yeah. So you might. I mean, listen, if you got Tony Pollard, you're probably going to have to play him regardless. But you might get a decent volume play out of him, but don't expect a ton because the Texans got a really good run defense. They're 5th against fantasy running backs, and they're just good across the board. And I don't see a scenario where the Titans are up and are just going to be running the football. So, you can see some volume out of Tony Pollard. Just temper your expectations on his outcome, and definite smash start Texans defense this week. All right, let's go. The next one, Vikings at the Bears. So the Vikings against QBs are 8th against running backs. They are number 2, 30th, though, against receivers, and they're 9th against tight ends. You don't usually see that where a team is high against fantasy quarterbacks, but almost dead last against receivers. That's interesting. Bears are number 1 against fantasy QBs, or 20th against running backs. They are number 1 against receivers, to my point, and 10th against tight ends. So, Justin, I'm going to give you the good one on this side. Give me some guys on the Vikings that you like and don't like.
It's Justin Jefferson. Don't even have to talk about it. Aaron Jones. Don't really even have to talk about it. I like this. This could be a nice, sneaky TJ Hawkinson game. Sam Darnold has found a nice connection with him ever since he's come back. I like him to kind of get back into the fold with this one. And then, with this game, it could be either really a tight game, kind of like how the Bears and the Packers were last week, or it could really just get out of control really quickly. And I would think if it was there to get out of control, it'd be on the Viking side. So, I'm gonna go with it being a tighter, closer, contested game, and I think the Bears defense are gonna actually stifle Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold's starting to regress back to that mean. He's had some really easy throw me games, and when he's challenged, he doesn't look all so great. So I think by Apocalypse time, if you got a better option than Sam Darnold out there, maybe you play him.
I actually 1,000% agree with you. I think this is going to be a struggle fest for this Vikings offense, who has regressed, I think, overall as a team, just a tad as we start to get down the stretch here. I know Sam Darnold's a little banged up. Believe he's going to go, but like you said, I don't think it's going to be an easy game for these guys. Bears have a good secondary, period. So he might be seeing some ghosts, but you may see a definite decent game out of Aaron Jones. What do you think, LeDuc, on the Bears side?
Yeah, the Bears side is ugly. Like I said, DeAndre Swift is banged up, so you're probably not going to get anything too crazy close to a ceiling there. It's one of those where you can't trust anybody, but because of the bye week situation, this might be a spot where you can try to take a shot to try to go crazy with maybe a lucky touchdown deep ball ceiling, and for that reason, Roma Dunze would be the guy that if I had to absolutely take a shot on somebody, had no other options, I might slide him into a lineup, but I would do it over DJ Moore because I just don't think DJ Moore is it at this point. I think his season's only going to continue to decline.
I think that little reel that we kept seeing about him walking off the field.
I can't get it out of my mind. It's a bad look.
Right, and it's almost like a comparison to the way he's doing the rest of the season. He's like, you know what, I'm done with this. But like I said earlier, Vikings secondary a little suspect. But who the hell knows who to pick out of these guys? You said Dunze. We talked about DJ Moore. Well, guess what? Then all of a sudden, Keenan Allen's going to get 3 TDs this weekend just for some strange reason. So it's hard to judge with this. Nobody's really stepped up and been that guy. So yeah, I feel you. It's tough. There's no way. We know we got the Binado here, but it's really tough for me to find any way to get any of these guys in my lineup. All right, let's go to the next one. Cowboys at Commanders. Cowboys against fantasy QBs are 28th. They're 29th against running backs, 18th versus receivers, and 11th against tight ends. On the Commander side, they're 18th versus QBs, 16th against running backs, 16th against receivers, and 14th against tight ends, which, by the way, is a big improvement from where they started the season. So that Commanders D is starting to step up quite a bit. LeDuc, let's go to you for this one. Commanders, give me guys you like and don't like.
Oh shit, Commander! Sorry, I was teed up for the Cowboys. Let me see the Commanders.
I'm trying to give the good team to one because we got some pretty bad matchups. I'm trying to switch it up. So
I feel it. Yeah, so this feels like it's weird to say, but a get right game for the Commanders because I feel like a lot of people have been saying the Commanders have kind of been sliding, like you said, back to the median a little bit here. I see a big game for Brian Robinson this week, Terry McLaurin as well, and also we saw a trend with Noah Brown being really involved for a while there. The last 2 weeks, it hasn't been quite the case, especially last week. I see Noah Brown getting back involved this week because I just think the Commanders are going to be able to do what they want against this Dallas defense. So, give me the Robinson, McLaurin, and Brown for this team.
That's crazy. You would think they'd do anything they want against this Cowboys defense. It's so funny because that was one of the defense people jumped up for during the
I know.
And man, boy, were you disappointed.
Why you don't jump up for a defense on draft day?
Right. Exactly. 100%. Justin, let's go to you. Now, I wanted to chime in. I don't know if Brian said anything, but I heard CeeDee Lamb was a bit downgraded going into this matchup, actually. So maybe, Duke, if you could fill us in on that. But Justin, give me guys you like and don't like other than CeeDee Lamb right now while we look this up.
Real fast, Lamb came back to practice today.
Okay.
So Lamb was back in practice with the back and foot injury, but it looks like he's going to play, yeah.
All right. So that's your only guy, then, Justin. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Listen. Cooper Rush blew me away last week that he actually put a lot of effort into that game. I won't say that he lost the entire game for the team, but I will just say that if he had a little more defense, maybe it'd be a little closer. But I'll just say this: the Commanders have not impressed me over the past couple of weeks. They have been unimpressive, and they've been unimpressive against, let's face it, lackluster kind of offenses. I know the Steelers are kind of going through this rejuvenation phase with Russell Wilson, but let's face it, it's kind of a really lackluster peanut butter and jelly type of offense. There's nothing really surprising there. I think the Commanders will definitely win this game, but I would not be surprised if Cooper Rush goes for another 300 yards in garbage time. CeeDee Lamb has a serviceable day as a wide receiver too. And put this one out there too. Luke Schoonmaker.
Yes.
Might be an okay tight end. Might be a very okay tight end today. And especially if DFS. That could be a winner in DFS. But
Jake Ferguson ruled out already.
Jake Ferguson's ruled out. I'll also say this: Rigo Dowdle, probably not a bad idea for your flex, especially with the Bionado coming around.
Yeah, I mean,
you could do worse. Is what I'm saying. You could really do worse.
Yeah, he'd be more in that flex range probably if I was looking at this matchup on a normal week, but definitely maybe put him up to RB2 at this point. The way we have so many teams off, and I just want to say real quick. When you want to describe a team that's bland, it's vanilla. It's not peanut butter and jelly. Everyone loves peanut butter and jelly.
I agree.
Peanut butter and jelly.
I'm going to say peanut butter and jelly is basic. It's basic stuff, bro.
You know what? You've not put in the Cooper Rush effort then for peanut butter and jelly because you've not had peanut butter and jelly on between two cooked waffles and Uncrustable. Like, come on, there's so many ways you can have peanut butter and jelly. Bland is I agree, Kamish. Bland.
Hey, it's vanilla, not peanut butter.
Vanilla.
Peanut butter and jelly in between waffles. Bro, the last time I was
that was my drunk snack in college.
I was making peanut butter and chocolate chip fucking pancakes the last time I was that fucking high.
that was in college, like in college, 3 a.m. after the party ended. That was my throw some waffles in the toaster and throw some peanut butter and jelly into it. Oh, you put you right to sleep. It's fantastic.
Listen, my go-to back in those days was cereal. Not to get off topic too much, but I was a big cereal guy. But I will say my wife laughs at me because every night, in fact, they bought me a peanut butter spoon. When it's about that time, instead of making a sandwich, I just do a peanut butter and jelly spoon. I just kind of spoon them together.
Oh, sure.
The whole thing. It's just great. I don't have to bread.
I'm down with that. All right. Which one first? Peanut butter or jelly first? Which one do you do first?
I do the peanut butter first because then it sticks on the spoon, and then you can just kind of, anyway.
Yep. It's better. I agree.
All right. Patriots at
You don't go dry second.
All right, let's go. Patriots at America's team, the Miami Dolphins. Patriots against fantasy QBs are 12th, 21st against running backs, 23rd against receivers, and 13th against tight ends. The America's team, the Miami Dolphins, are 3rd against QBs, 24th against running backs, 5th against receivers, and 20th against tight ends. So, Justin, like I said, we're going to go with the good teams for you on this one. Give me who you like and don't like on the Dolphins.
I was going to say, do you want to take this one? I'll tell you who I like on this one. I like everybody in this game. I think the only person I don't want to trust is maybe like Raheem Mostert because he's the number 2 running back. But yeah, everybody else, Jonnu Smith, yes, please. Jalen Waddle, yes, please. Tyreek Hill, yes, please. Tua Tagovailoa, fuck yes, please. Let's go. I'm down with it. I love it all. Except for maybe the defense. Defense might be a little shaky. Shaky.
A little shaky after what you've seen over the past few weeks. This Miami D has been carrying his football team. But I will say really quickly, this is a shout out to Jalen Waddle. Bro, just because you get tackled doesn't mean you're hurt. Every freaking play, you're the softest pillow I've ever seen in my life. Get up and stop limping around and then come back in the game like everything's fine. Wake up. Anyway, LeDuc, guys you like and don't like on the Patriots side.
So Drake May is legit for fantasy purposes because even in these losses, he's putting up 14, 15, 16, 17 points. He's running the ball, he's throwing the ball. So give me Drake May. 2 QB leagues, he's easy a QB2 that you can start in a super flex league. I'm doing it this week. So give me Drake May. I'm off. Ramondre Stevenson, Antonio Gibson, forget about it. Like they're just not going to do enough. But Demario Douglas this week, I think, could do enough to be a flex play in these bye week scenarios. And then Hunter Henry as well. 1 week removed from the team, from Gerard Mayo, the head coach, coming out and saying that Hunter Henry is really the only guy that they really design plays specifically for. That is what you want to hear for an offensive player. Give me the Hunter Henry. Once again, especially in the Binado week here. Henry, May, and Douglas, I'm all about that. And I hope we continue to see the Kendrick Bourne train upward rise that we saw last week because apparently Tyquan Thornton held him back. That makes no fucking sense to me, but apparently Tyquan Thornton was the wall that was keeping Kendrick Bourne in the fucking locker room all year.
So I'm just
gonna you have your hand raised, Justin.
Oh, Justin's raised.
Yeah, I have a question for you. I have a legitimate question for you. Who do you think Jalen Ramsey's going to be on?
So I actually think Jalen Ramsey's going to be on Booty. I think Ramsey will be on Booty more because I think
that's great. I'm going to be on
no Diddy, right? No Diddy,
right? for real though, Keyshawn Booty for real though, because I think Demario Douglas, they move him around like a lot in weird ways that I think he's just gonna. And let's be honest, the difference between Douglas and Booty and Bourne is it's not like one is a standout top guy. So I honestly feel like Jalen Ramsey's just gonna pick a guy. They're gonna pick a guy for him to just take him out completely, and I think that's gonna be Keyshawn Booty because he's got the speed and deep ball element that they've been trying to use, and they're not gonna let him do that this week.
I'm just going to interject, say 2 things. I actually disagree with you. I do like Ramondre Stevenson in this matchup, and only because, like, the Dolphins this season, I mean, yes, they played good defense. They did great. Last actually few games, they've done well against the run. They've kind of tightened up a little bit, but there's still holes there that I see. And also, it doesn't matter if it's Mike McDaniels, Nick Saban, Don Shula. The Dolphins can never stop the tight end, ever. I don't know what goes on in Miami that they just can never stop a tight end. So I do like Hunter Henry, especially in this Binado week, to step up a little bit in this matchup. And when I say a little bit. All right, let's go to an epic matchup of the day. The Kansas City Chiefs go all the way to the Carolinas to face the Panthers. We're making fun, but watch this be the game of the day. Chiefs against QB, 22nd. Against running backs, they're number 1. 13th against receivers, 29th against tight ends. On the Panther side, 26th against QBs, dead last against running backs, 12th against receivers, and 31st against tight ends. So LeDuc, we'll go to you. Guys you like and don't like on the Chiefs, and I think Kareem Hunt's probably an easy answer here.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's They're all easy. Mahomes should have. Once again, I've said this before. Mahomes should have a Mahomes-like day, but once again, there's been weeks this year that I've said that he's only scored 13 points. So take that as you want. But this should be Mahomes. This should be Hunt. Hopkins, I have him in my DFS lineup. A little sneak peek for Sunday. It's going to be good. And then Travis Kelce. This just feels like a tight end week. And Travis Kelce should get back to top 5 status this week. So, yeah, I like all the main guys. Like I said, Isaiah Pacheco not coming back yet, so Kareem Hunt should still eat here. If you are absolutely desperate, I'm only going to say this because I, in one league, am very desperate because of injuries and bye weeks. If you need to take a shot on a scum running back somewhere, it's worth taking a shot on Samaje Perine just because of how he's involved in the passing game, and because if the game script does go the way where they get up big, I could see a lot of just garbage time touches where they're just kind of chilling.
Samaje, you are scum, according to
me. Yeah. I feel like I gotta go take a shower after hearing that name. It's fucking dirty.
All right,
he's playable scum.
So I don't know how long your analysis is going to last, but give me guys you like and don't like on the Panthers side. Or Justin, sorry.
Oh man, Chuba Hubbard because it's mandatory. Jatavian Sanders. I think I'm done.
Yeah.
Just because the Chiefs have been lackluster against the tight end.
Yep.
And they have been, and he's actually stepped up and played big. You know, it doesn't matter who the QB has been. So I like that call there. I think you will see a little bit of Jadavian, wherever the hell you pronounce it. And yeah, so LeDuc, by the way, the Kansas. I can't. Never mind. All right, let's move on. Bucks at the Giants.
Well, are you going back to that all easy comment? Like, what the fuck?
We're way off topic. I was like, I can't keep going with this. All right, let's go. Fantasy QBs for the Buccaneers. They are dead last in the league. They're 28th against running backs, or 27th against receivers, and 28th against. Boy, you talk about holes everywhere in this Bucs D. Giants, 24th against fantasy QBs, 18th against running backs, 14th against receivers, and oddly, number 1 against tight ends. So let's go to Justin first. Give me guys you like and don't like on the Bucs side.
I think it's pretty simple. Everybody, just play them, except for the number 2 and 3 wide receiver, Mike Evans, Cade Otton, Rashad White, Bucky motherfucking Irving. I think it's a 20-point week for Bucky Irving. And Baker Mayfield's going to be doing Baker Mayfield things.
Yeah.
Book it, boys. Massacre of the week.
That is something.
And rightfully so, the Giants suck.
But the gabagool, though. The gabagool.
That was something I thought I'd never hear, especially this late in the season, that Baker Mayfield's doing Baker Mayfield things in a good way. It's crazy. All right, what do you think, LeDuc? Guys you like and don't like on the Giants side?
So I'm going to say I'll take a shot on Wan'Dale Robinson this week. So Malik Neighbors has a groin injury from last week. He's still he was able to play through it and come back last week, but that was it with the adrenaline rush and in the moment. I think that you give that a few days to settle in. That's probably not feeling as good coming into this week. So if I'm going to take a chance on anyone here, I guess Wan'Dale Robinson, just because of the way they use him in the short passing game in this offense, and considering it's Tommy DeVito, I don't think we're going to see the same magic we saw last year with the homeschooled kid, whatever the hell he is.
See, I actually disagree with you. I think I was trying to look this up as you were talking, but every team this season so far, when they fire their coach, well, except for the Jets, seem to get a resurgence, that little bit of moxie back to them. So I could see the Giants at home now, knowing that they're moving on from the Daniel Jones era, having a little bit of a decent game.
Firing the coach and the quarterback's different, though.
Because the Bucs defense is absolutely garbage. Hold
on, you just made an argument for fucking Daniel Jones leaving by saying firing the coach. Brian Daboll's still there.
Well,
yeah,
look,
exactly. I was going to say all the players came out and literally said they hated it.
Firing Daniel Jones, the offensive cube, whatever you want to say. The facts are, I think you'll see a little resurgence in this offense because it's just that little bit of excitement that they're moving on. And again, it's not if they were playing a decent team, I'd obviously be like, I wouldn't even be saying this. But the Bucs defense is trash. It's trash against everyone. There's no good. Every team at least has one good area they're in, and the Bucs are not good in anything at all. So I could see Tyrone Tracy having a decent day. I can see Malik Neighbors having a decent day, and Tommy DeVito, not for nothing, could have a decent play. Champy wants to say, come at me all you want, but I gotta say it's Cards' second best team in the NFC after the Lions. What do you guys think of that?
Interesting. I think the NFC has got too much talent to say the Cards are the second best team.
I think they're playing.
I think if the Cards play the Lions today, they get smashed by 30 points.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I think right now the Cardinals have proven that they can win football games. They are good. I don't know about second in the NFC. I still right now think that's Philly. I don't think that the Cards are on Philly's level quite there yet. But they're not
far.
Too far off, right? Not too far.
I'd say
off.
they're top 5. I'd say I'll give them top 5. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I would even say top 4. I think they're a division winner. I think they're going to win their division. Yeah. Easily.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Champy, thanks for your comment. We appreciate you. We ain't gonna come at you, bro. We like that. We like that take. All right, let's go on to another epic match.
Hey, Chip, how many titles the Cardinals got?
Oh, here it goes. Here it comes. Maybe there is a little shade coming. My bad. All right, let's go on to another great matchup. Lions at the Colts. It actually might not be too bad. Lions against fantasy QBs are 6th. They're 4th against running backs, 29th against receivers, and 2nd against tight ends. Colts, they're 23rd against QBs, 23rd against running backs, 19th against receivers, and 27th against tight ends. So we got some holes there. But Justin, give me guys you like and don't like on the Lions side.
Oh, wow. So this one's going to be another one where I thought last week you were just going to load up on the running backs, but Jared Goff decided he wanted to get in on the game too and throw for, I think he threw for like close to 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like, Jesus freaking Christ. The Lions just eat. They just eat, they eat. So that being said, the Colts are a very pitiful defense in every way, shape, and form. And so I don't think you're going to have a problem starting everybody you have that has a DET next to it.
Yep.
I mean, the worst case scenario is you put it out there and they don't play for you. But if you don't put them out there and they get 30 points from you, you got nobody to blame but yourself, dude. The matchup was ready for you.
And the funny thing is about the Lions, that two-headed monster at running back. I know personally, I'm always like that guy that's like, I can't get David Montgomery in this round because, man, he splits that backfield. But damn, bro, this guy they just feed the rock to both of these guys. It's just crazy. All right, so Anthony Richardson led Colts, LeDuc. I'm going to challenge you on this one. So give me guys you like and don't like on this side.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson surprised me last week. He was able to put together quite a nice showing, so that was surprising. This Lions defense, though, we're talking about their offense. This Lions defense is no joke. So I see us going back to the old Anthony Richardson from early in the year. I see a decent game from Jonathan Taylor, but I can't trust any pass catching option in this Anthony Richardson run offense this week. So, I mean, if you got to take a chance, Josh Downs has your best deep ball downfield threat. But outside of that, this is mainly just Jonathan Taylor for me.
I feel like Anthony Richardson could be decent only in the fact that I feel like garbage time is going to matter in this for him. I just feel like the Lions are going to be up high, and they're just going to have to keep throwing a try to get in this thing. And if that's the case and they spread things out, well, guess what? He's going to start running the football too. So I feel like he could be a QB in that, like maybe that second tier range this week. But again, with the options that you're having, he might not be a bad play for you if obviously you got somebody out this week. But definitely it's all about garbage time. It's not because I think he's going to do well in the Lions D. All right, let's go to
a nice comparison. I'm starting Drake May over Anthony Richardson. If that does anything for anybody out there as a comparison, I think that's a nice little meter.
Fuck Drake May. Who is Drake May? Drake him up again. Like, we've already talked about Drake May. Let's move on from Drake May. We're gonna have a shit fucking time this weekend. All right, let's go Broncos. Let's go the Broncos at the Raiders. Broncos against fantasy QBs. They are number 4, 15th against running backs, 3rd against receivers, 15th against tight ends. The Raiders, 25th against QBs, 26th against running back, 7th against receivers, and they are dead last against tight ends. LeDuc, guys you like and don't like on the Denver Broncos.
Big on Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton this week. And you'll see that more on Sunday, but Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton, I think, are going to have a massive week together, and mainly because I don't think there's really many other options in this offense. Javonte Williams is all right, but he's doing just enough to hold off Audric Estim, who has kind of fallen back down to earth a little bit after being such a popular waiver wire ad and then immediately being the most popular waiver wire drop. So yeah, but for me this week, for them, it's Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton, I think, are gonna explode for a big day.
I don't mean to laugh while you're talking, but somebody on last Sunday asked us Javonte Williams or Estime, and I was like, hey, Fred, I should have known. I was like, hey, Fred, which one of these guys? He's like, I've never even heard of that other guy.
This is a 1 week blip.
This is our fantasy analyst here. He's like, oh, I don't even know who the other guy is. Luckily, we gave the advice for Javonte Williams. So my brother, I forgot who it was who asked. I hope he went with it.
It worked out.
Definitely worked out for you. All right, let's go, Justin. Give me guys you like and don't like on the Raiders side.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. So can I just say nobody? I'm pretty sure.
I mean, you know what?
Earlier, like, it's going to be a really tough time. I mean, I would not be surprised if they have not Asante Samuel, Patrick Surtain. I was wondering which former cornerback son was on the Broncos again. I would not be surprised if Patrick Surtain covering Brock Bowers this week with how good he has been. Like, it just seems like the smartest thing to do is to cover your best player with your best player on defense. And then that leaves Jacoby Myers. I mean, you already know the business. If you have Brock Bowers, you're starting him anyways. But Jacoby Myers maybe as like your second flex, and then everybody else, no. Because the Raiders also don't have a running back.
Nope.
They're stuck with Amir.
Probably going to start.
Yep.
Yeah. And shout out to my.
And he's going to score a touchdown too. He's going to score a touchdown. Nobody's going to play him, but he's going to score a touchdown.
100% will.
Shout out to my dynasty fantasy opponent this week who decided to pick him up. I thought he's 2-9. I just figured his lineup, he's got everybody on a bye pretty much. So I assumed he was just going to take a knee and let me roll over. But there he goes picking up Amir Abdullah. He's actually trying to give himself a chance. So shout out to my boy Eric. You still
don't want you to lose because of that.
I know. All right, come on, bro. I'm coming back to you if that's the case. All right, let's go Cardinals at Seahawks. And we'll talk more about the weather on Sunday. Shameless plug. Don't forget to wake up with us at 8 a.m. But on this particular game, I just want to bring it up. It is likely going to be one of those normal rainy Seattle days. So just to keep that in mind as we talk about this one. Cardinals are 15th against QBs, 25th against running backs, 17th against receivers, and 8th against tight ends. On the Seahawks side, they're 19th against QBs, 22nd against running backs, 21st against receivers, and 18th against tight ends. I know how much you hate the Seahawks, Justin, so I'm going to go to you with the Cardinals. Give me guys you like and don't like.
Yeah. It's pretty much the NFC West. I don't like them at all. The Cardinals, I really am like, go ahead and start everybody with the Cardinals in this game. Connor's going to be good. I feel like this could be a Marvin Harrison game all the way. He's been looking for one of those really like breakout, standout. I drafted you at number 9 type games, and I think this has it written all over it. Trey McBride, on the other hand, is always a guaranteed locked in 15 points for you. And then Kyler Murray's been playing out of his freaking mind. Like, I talk shit to Champy, but he really has been playing like an MVP this year. He's not talked about like an MVP, but he's played like it. And, Geno Smith likes to throw interceptions, so even the defense is a good option in this one.
Didn't throw enough last week, though, did he? All right, what do you think, LeDuc? Guys you like and don't like on the Seahawks?
So I think this could be one of the better games of the week as far as entertaining, close, and stress level. So I like Kenneth Walker this week here because I think he just is 2 levels above Zach Charbonnet for everything Zach Charbonnet is. So Kenneth Walker, give me that. And then JSN is just his time is now. It's here. He's proven it. JSN, even though DK Metcalf is still there, I think JSN is the guy that's going to move the chains for this team and continue to do that going forward. So, yeah, give me Walker and JSN mainly in this matchup. And just to add to the Cardinals as well, I'm going to cross teams here. Trey Benson's usage is going up, and Connor is still being successful and usable in fantasy. We could be on the verge in the future going into next year here of another Detroit Lions situation, which is rare, to where we have a Connor and Benson double-headed serpent that's just going to crush targets here. So keep an eye on Trey Benson. You might have to start him this week with the bye weeks, and you might be all right with it to get like 10 points.
With Kyler Murray back there throwing the football, I mean, that's pretty dangerous indeed. All right, since I called Fred out, I'll call myself out. Somebody asked who to drop on Sunday. JSN was one of the guys. And I'm like, yeah, I'd drop.
No
I
way.
remember calling you out on that. I
God.
remember going like, what are you talking about? You just had 40 points.
To be fair, there were some good guys there. This guy was like in a 10-man league. So to be fair, it wasn't like I was saying this, Steve freaking Devin Singletary over him. But yeah, I've just never been a big JSN guy. So he is though starting to obviously shut me the hell up. So. But anyway, we're gonna call you. I'm gonna call you out. I can call myself out. It's cool. I'm good with it. I
about you.
And then I messed up the Giants comparison earlier too. I was trying to talk my way out of it, but you're right. All right, let's go. 49ers at the Packers. 49ers against fantasy QBs are 10th. They're 17th against running backs, 11th against receivers, and 6th against tight ends. Packers, 8th against QBs, 16th against running backs, 10th against receivers, and 21st against tight ends. So, LeDuc, guys you like and don't like on the Packers side of the ball.
Yeah, this game is going to be interesting. I like Jordan Love, I like Jaden Reed, and I like Josh Jacobs. I'd say those are my definite starts. A watch guy for me is the rest of this weekend goes on is a Christian Watson. I'll be curious to see how he continues to get back involved in this offense. Tucker Kraft though last week with a whopping nothing. That's terrifying. It's not to be trusted. And I think that shows with the Christian Watson coming back into this lineup and being involved, Reed, Watson, Dobbs, and Dontavian, there's now just enough passing options where they don't have to settle for the tight end anymore. So I would be aware of Tucker Kraft going forward. But for this week only, give me Love, Jacobs, and Reed for sure with a watch on Watson.
Yeah, I don't know. But, we're going to go LeDuc now. What happened to this 49ers defense? Definitely not what we're used to. But give me guys you'd like and don't like on your squad.
It's because everybody's on the IR. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. And actually, LeDuc, I would go Tucker Kraft this week. Because you would? Okay. Tucker Kraft? Devondre Campbell. Devondre Campbell freaking he is so slow. He moves like a defensive tackle out there.
This is how you know it's a fan giving the analysis. He's so slow. So slow.
Bro, you watch these games and you go, oh my God, I could cover that guy faster than you could cover that fucking guy. Just go play somewhere else. Go to the bench. Yeah, it's gonna be miserable. I'm already preparing myself to change the channel and watch somebody else's game because it's gonna be so bad. Yeah, so you got Brandon Allen. I would say probably your best options are Jawan Jennings and George Kittle. They're going to try and tune up the band with Deebo Samuel. We've seen what goes on with that. The band is it's getting old and it doesn't really play very well anymore. And then Christian McCaffrey, dude. Like I know you got to play him, and especially with a bye NATO, but Jesus Christ, he has not been the Christian McCaffrey that was as advertised #1 pick overall in fantasy drafts. And then, we'll get to you. We'll get to you, Smiley. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll get to you.
It's just a legit question for you. That's all. That's all.
No. I know. I'm just going on a rant right here. You got to let me go. You just got to let me. Jason, you just got to let me go.
Hand. Keep going. Keep going.
And then Ricky Pearsall, that was great. It lasted for 2 weeks and it's gone. Kyle Shanahan has officially written him out of the offense. Brandon Allen's not going to be able to see him, and Brock Purdy can't see him. So this is going to be fun, guys. All I'm going to say is start Josh Jacobs, because without Nick Bosa, that run defense is going to be fucking horrible.
Yeah. So what Duke, what was your question?
All right, so my question here, you're obviously very down on Deebo Samuel. I have a legitimate problem this week because of the bye weeks, I have to start both Jawan Jennings and Deebo Samuel. I am considering starting Jordan Addison over Deebo, though.
I would do that.
That's what I'm considering at this point, because I just do not like it. To be honest, I tried to trade in packages for the last couple of days, Deebo and Garrett Wilson out the door for another wide receiver, but haven't been able to pull it off. So, but I might start Addison over Deebo.
I wouldn't do that.
I would do that 1,000% right now, because I'm going to tell you something. Deebo sucks at separating right now. It's just been absolutely embarrassing to watch him on tape, because you're like, this is the downfall of an empire right here. This is a guy that we have signed for another 2 years, and he can't fucking. If Coop was on him, he couldn't get away from single coverage, press coverage from Coop. That's how bad he is right now.
Yeah, and I've seen Coop play flag football.
That's right.
That's why I said Coop, because he's athletic.
Fucker in the ground. Listen, Mr. Fucking butthole all puckered up over the 49ers. The fact is that it's Deebo Samuel, so it doesn't matter. They're going to hand the ball off to him. They're going to find ways to get him the ball. So I feel like he's still a decent play. Jordan Addison is like hit or miss, and you're going against a decent Bear secondary we talked about earlier. So to me, I'm not making that move. But we're
going against the Bears secondary. We're going against the Packers secondary.
They're both good, but the Bears are number one against fantasy receivers, and where the Packers are 10th. So it's just.
Can I just tell you, Deebo Samuel has not had a game over 23 rushing yards this year, and that was in week 1. Outside of that, he hasn't been over 15 rushing yards, including 2 games with negative rushing yards.
Bro, I told you this 2 weeks ago when they played the Chiefs. When you see him fucking take an end around, you kind of just like, you can count in slow-mo how long it takes for him to cut upfield. Bro, you give it to Ricky Pearsall, the dude's already upfield and freaking breaking tackles and got 23 yards. Deebo takes it, it's like, no, he's down. Loss of 2 yards. It's like that. Dude, I love Deebo. I have a Deebo jersey. It's just not working out. And I mean, that's just. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
You're fine. I know. You talked for an hour about the fucking Niners. I just have one question about them, though.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Just not looking good.
Just having fun. No, it's okay. Use the session venting session. I trust me. I get it. I know. Trust me. I feel.
It's true. It's for the first time in a long time. I'll be seeing it from the couch, and I'm not going to be rooting for anybody. Except for the team that beats the Chiefs. Whoever beats the Chiefs, I'm going to be rooting for you all day long, son.
Yeah,
let's go. Team right there.
Let's get Justin off the Niners. Let's talk about a game, the Sunday night delight. Eagles at the Rams. The Eagles against fantasy QBs. They're 5th. Running backs are 6th. They're 6th against receivers and 4th against tight ends. Biggest difference in this Eagles team right now. Rams, 14th against QBs. They're 12th against running backs. 22nd against receivers, and they're 26th against tight ends. But what do you say, Justin, guys you like and don't like on the Eagles?
Oh, this is an easy game because the Rams defense is so fucking wishy-washy. It's like, who's going to show up? It's going to be Jared Verse, who's been an excellent rookie, and then nobody else shows up for them. So if they can't get pressure on the Eagles, then Jalen Hurts is going to have his absolute way with them. Gonna just manhandle and do other things that are inappropriate for YouTube to handle. So I'm going to just say this. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley all day long. Devontae Smith is out, so put in A.J. Brown, and I think we could even say Dallas Goedert. I know every time I invoke his name, something happens. So I think that this is a Dallas Goedert week.
Yeah, not this week. He's a smash start to me. The Rams 26, almost bottom of the barrel against tight ends without Devonta Smith. You're definitely going to see some Goddard targets. Leduc, guys you like and don't like on the Rams side.
Dallas Goedert, number 1 tight end this week. On the Rams side, it's your usual suspects. It's kind of Stafford, but it's Kyron Williams, it's Nakua, and it's Cup. It's very simple. Everyone else is faded to the darkness on this team.
Yeah, Kyron Williams still is always a stud, but he's like, you have no matter what, you're playing him. So like just projection wise, he'd be more of a flex start, if you will, going into the Eagles. That was the one thing I was saying even prior to them resurging in the secondary. That was where they were soft. They played the run great all season long. So, and that's not changed. So that's something I think Kyron's going to have a tough day, but you're going to have to play him anyway. And like you said, you're going to play Cup, you're going to play Nakua. Those are guys you're going to play. Stafford, obviously, if you got better options, I would definitely head that way. All right, let's finish it up with Monday Night Ravens at the Chargers. Ravens against fantasy QBs, they are 30th, 10th against running backs, dead last against receivers, 23rd against tight ends. Chargers 13th against QBs, 3rd against running backs, 15th against receivers, 12th against tight ends. Leduc, will go to you for Baltimore. Guys you like and don't like.
Gonna be a great game. So the likes are obvious: Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers. You think you gotta play him. I will say I'm gonna give you some tidbits here though, in that if you got a bunch of buys and your waiver wires are similar to what my home league is, Rashard Bateman, not a terrible flyer in the flex this week. If you're looking for a guy to pick up and just throw in, Rashard Bateman's one of those guys. I'd say it's probably someone like him, or even like a Demario Douglas, something like that is a very I guess doable flyer for a flex play. But outside of that, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, like I said, they're gonna crush. Justice Hill as well. He's just too much involved to where you can't ignore the possibility of him getting a touchdown. And on a week like this, those touchdowns are even more valuable. So yeah, that's how I feel about the Ravens. This game is gonna be fantastic. A little sneak peek to Sunday, picking the Chargers.
Ooh, I like it. Oh, he's giving away his pick already. Gotta love it. All right, Justin, what say you? Guys you like and don't like on the Charger side of the football?
Yeah, I'm big on J.K. Dobbins having himself a revenge game, especially against this Ravens team. He's pulled together a couple of good games, got his confidence back, and I don't think Gus Edwards is really a threat to that position right now. Lad McConkey coming off his best game of the season, 120 yards. Really love his chances to light up this secondary that has been nothing short of terrible all season long. It's not the Ravens that we've come to know and love. Somebody needs to find that defensive coordinator and tell him you're losing us games that we shouldn't be losing and get him the hell out of there. And after that, the only other person I really kind of trust is Will Dissly, and that's just because he's just been Will automatic. I mean, this guy is getting almost like 8 targets a game. He's getting somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 6 receptions a game. Topping it off, he's getting some explosive plays. Call him Big Country. I like to call him Big Will Dissly. Big man out of, I think, Wyoming or Montana, one of those big fucking, mountain fucking states. Where they don't wear gloves and they fucking and they move hay to get the muscles, bro. But I think that guy has got some unsung talent to him,
Oh,
and he's
my
got some
God.
potential. And guess what? He is still on your waiver wire. I guarantee it because nobody really knows about Will Dissly. And then he's not.
Oh no, you continue. You continue. Mine was a passing thought.
Oh, okay. And then Justin Herbert will just finish it off with that. I think it's going to be a really good game. I don't know if the Chargers are going to win it because it's a hardball ball, and we all know that John owns Jim when it comes to the hardball ball.
Yeah,
Hardball ball.
so hardball ball. So the only thing I'll just interject with is I do like Quentin Johnson this week as well. I think, again, the Ravens, not only do they have a bad secondary, they are prone to give up the big plays. So that's where, of course, he makes his money, and I like him a lot this week. Also in this matchup. All right, we've been referring to it all day, so let's just bring it up again. Don't forget, wake up with us 8 a.m. on Sunday. We got all your great stuff, prop bets. We're going to make picks. We got ultimate DFS lineup. We'll talk about the weather. Brian's in for the injuries, and then we got all of our fantasy friends that give you some fun ways to set your fantasy lineups and do some prop betting. And we're going to finish off tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with another fantasy friend. Our boy, Mr. Mallard, is here. He wants to give you some sophisticated starts for week 12. Let's get it.
Oh la la!
Don't mind the less than sophisticated outfit. It's got a little case of the trade hangovers with it being trade deadline week in my home league. Yeah, just lots of classy moves to be made. Let's get to this week though. It's getting real close to playoffs. We gotta make sure we're starting all the best guys we can. So let's go with that's Brian Robinson's his name.
Oh la la!
Start Brian Robinson, Washington. He's gonna continue this nice uptick he's got. Austin Eckler's still around, but I actually think Austin Eckler being involved has seemed to help Brian Robinson. As long as Robinson continues to get those goal line carries, he's gonna work out just fine for you. So I see Brian Robinson as an RB1 this week. Bo Nix with a great been crushing it. I say crushing it. Bo Nix, so start him as well, and then his number one guy, Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton. Pair Cortland Sutton with him this week. I think they're probably going to be week winners for you this week. So all those guys are going to be in the top portion of their position. So recap: Brian Robinson, Cortland Sutton, and Bo Nix. And I'm gonna go get some sleep. Stay classy.
Oh la la!
If he were to punch you in the face, you would have to fight off the strong urge to thank him.
Indeed.
I think those cars would keep me awake.
Thank you so much. I know you got a lot of traffic where you live, bro. Like, damn, every time you go, there's like 5 or 6 cars.
You should see how many takes I have to do to try to just even get into that.
I bet. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. Thanks for your comments and all of the good stuff. We will see you, of course, on Sunday morning where we're going to get you ready for week 12. From us to you, we appreciate you, and we are out.